Okay, so this problem merge intervals is a medium problem. Given an array of intervals where intervals of I equals start and end, merge all overlapping intervals and return an array of the non-overlapping intervals that cover all the intervals in the input. You have intervals here. The 3 overlaps with the 2, so that's why this combined becomes 1, 6. Then the 6 is smaller than the 8, so you just append it 8, 10, and the 15 is bigger than the 10, so you just append it. Here, 1, 4, 4, 5. The 4's combined, so that's how you get 1 and 5. So to draw this, to make this a little more easy to understand, let's see, you got 1, 3, 2, 6, 8, 10, 15, and 18. So in this case, 2 is clearly between the 1 and the 3. So let's say I call this A and this call this B. Then in this case, B1 is between A1 and A2. I guess you could say less than or equal. So that implies overlap, implies so then you basically take the A1 and then the 6, so overlap, and also A2 greater than equal to, or B2 greater than equal to A2. So that applies, you're going to have A1 and then the bigger ones would be the B2. So if we have like the result res, which is going to obtain the final result, which is going to be the list of the intervals. So here you will have res equals 1, 3, because when you just look at the 1, 3, there's nothing to compare it to, so you just added whatever's there automatically. Then here you're going to have A1, B2, but you already have the 1, 3, so the 1 here is the same as the A1, so then you basically just change the second entry of res to B2. So in this case, you would just say res, its last entry, its second element would just be equal to the B2. And then here, so now you have, so res now equals 1, 6. So now 1, 6 looks like this. So in this case, there's clearly no overlap. Because A2 is smaller than B1. So it implies res is going to be 1 and 6 and A10. And then similarly with that 15, 18. So let's look at some other cases. Well, another thing to keep in mind is that we're just going to sort this intervals because the problem never mentions that they're sorted. So it will help a lot if we just sort it. So another case that comes to mind would be if you had like 1 and 6 and then 1 and 4. So in this case, res or equals 1 to 6, and then you have this condition where B1 is between A1 and A2, but you don't have, but B2 is not greater than or equal to A2, in this case less than. So it implies there's no need to change the 1, 6. It basically, the 1, 6 already contains 1, 4, so you just keep the 1, 6 to nothing. I think that pretty much covers all the cases. It would be like there's a partial overlap, no overlap, and here the previous interval contains the current one, in which case just do nothing. Okay, so if we have intervals.sort for interval in intervals, you need res. So if res is nothing, you just add the current interval to it. If length of res 0, then res.append interval. Else, there's an overlap where A2 is bigger than or equal to B1, because if they're the same, like here 1, 4, 1, 5, they are considered an overlap. So if A1 or if A2 greater than or equal to B1, so A2, that's equivalent to the last entry in res, greater than or equal to interval 0. So in that case, so when there's overlap, you're just taking the last element of res and then changing its second index to be B2. If there's no overlap, in which case if interval of 0 is bigger than the second element of the previous res. So interval 0 is greater than res minus 1 of 1. In this case, just append the interval. And then the last one would be 1 and 6 and 1 and 4, in which case second interval is bigger than equal to interval 0, but interval of 1 is less than so interval of 1, so it has to be greater than or equal to the res minus 1 of 1. So that way we don't include this. We don't change the 6 to the 4. Okay, so then we just return res. This can be combined to else if and else if here. And that should solve the problem. And it passes all test cases. So that's it. And yeah, thanks so much for watching this video.